Imagine achieving everything you've ever dreamed of. You're smart, talented, capable, but somehow the success feels like a trap. Every step forward comes with a whisper of doubt. Every accomplishment brings a shadow of anxiety. And yet, despite knowing better, you find yourself making decisions that destroy your progress, ruin relationships, and leave you questioning your own sanity. What if I told you that the very intelligence that sets you apart is also quietly orchestrating your downfall? That the sharpness of your mind, the awareness that others envy, is being weaponized against you by forces you barely notice? Picture this. You've just landed the job you've wanted for years. You worked tirelessly, outsmarted every obstacle, and finally, the offer letter is in your hands. But instead of excitement, a strange unease gnaws at you. You procrastinate. You doubt. You second-guess every choice. And, without realizing it, you make mistakes that jeopardize the opportunity. You might chalk it up to stress, fatigue, or bad timing. But the truth is darker and more universal. The smartest among us are not immune to self-sabotage. In fact, intelligence can intensify it, creating a paradox. The more aware you are, the more capable your mind becomes at undermining you. In this video, we'll explore the hidden mechanisms behind this paradox. Why do some people seem to destroy the very things they've worked hardest to achieve? What unconscious fears, psychological patterns, and identity conflicts are driving them? And more importantly, what can you learn about your own mind by understanding these patterns? By the end of this journey, you'll see that self-sabotage is not a flaw, it's a signal. A shadow cast by the mind's most brilliant parts. And once you recognize it, you can begin to step out of its path. The paradox of intelligence. It might seem counterintuitive. Intelligence is supposed to be your superpower. It gives you insight, strategy, and the ability to predict outcomes. Yet, for many highly intelligent people, it becomes a double-edged sword. The paradox of intelligence lies in awareness. The more you can see, the more you notice risks, flaws, and potential failures. This heightened perception leads to overthinking, analysis paralysis, and what psychologists call anticipatory anxiety. Every decision feels like it carries the weight of destiny, and the fear of making the wrong move can be immobilizing. Imagine a brilliant student who excels academically. Everyone expects success, and the pressure mounts. But instead of confidently pursuing opportunities, they procrastinate endlessly. Every essay, every presentation, every interview becomes a battlefield. They know the material, understand the stakes, and yet their mind conjures an endless list of reasons why they might fail. This is not laziness, it's a mind sabotaging itself to avoid the discomfort of imperfection. Perfectionism is another hidden trap. For smart people, the bar is never just high. It's invisible, subjective, and constantly shifting. They may finish a project, but instead of satisfaction, they fixate on every minor flaw. This internal critic grows louder, convincing them that their efforts are never enough. Over time, perfectionism turns into self-sabotage. Missed deadlines, abandoned projects, or sabotaged relationships, all in the pursuit of an unattainable ideal. There's also a deeper, existential component. Intelligence comes with the ability to imagine alternate realities. You can foresee every possible outcome, every potential disappointment. But this gift has a cost, a persistent awareness of life's fragility and unpredictability. Smart people often carry an undercurrent of dread, an unspoken knowledge that success is temporary, that failure is inevitable, and that happiness can be fleeting. This dread can fuel self-sabotage. If you are subconsciously convinced that failure is inevitable, why not control it on your own terms? Why not destroy your success before the universe does it for you? This may sound extreme, but for those trapped in this paradox, self-destruction feels safer than risking humiliation, disappointment, or loss of control. Pause for a moment and imagine yourself here, achieving a goal, yet feeling an invisible hand pushing you to undo it. Every brilliant idea, every opportunity, every relationship is both a potential triumph and a potential threat. Intelligence, once your ally, has become a weapon aimed at yourself. The inner saboteur. Beneath conscious thought lies another force, one far more cunning, subtle, and insidious, the unconscious mind. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the part of ourselves we refuse to see or acknowledge. The inner saboteur resides here, quietly undermining your intentions, turning ambition into hesitation, and transforming opportunity into anxiety. Why would the mind do this? In many cases, it's protective. Humans are wired to avoid pain, rejection, and failure. When a goal feels too threatening, too far beyond what your self-image can handle, the unconscious mind steps in. It doesn't reason, it doesn't plan for growth. It simply defends you from perceived danger, even if that defense looks like self-destruction. Consider imposter syndrome. Smart individuals often feel like frauds, constantly waiting for the world to expose them. Each success triggers the fear that you'll be found out, that you're not truly deserving. To manage this fear, your mind may create situations that prove your unworthiness, like missing deadlines, arguing with colleagues, or sabotaging your own projects. Ironically, this allows the inner saboteur to feel justified. See? You're not good enough. You belong in failure. Cognitive dissonance compounds the problem. The conflict between your ambition and your self-perceived inadequacy creates mental tension. The brain seeks resolution, often unconsciously, by acting in ways that align with self-doubt rather than achievement. You might think you're sabotaging out of laziness or fear, but often, it's a subtle alignment between unconscious beliefs and outward behavior. Let's put this into a hypothetical scenario. Imagine a brilliant artist on the cusp of fame. Invitations pour in, critics praise their work, and the world is ready to recognize their talent. Yet, late at night, the artist destroys sketches, cancels exhibitions, and pushes collaborators away. From the outside, it seems irrational, but within their psyche, this behavior protects them from an identity that feels too large, too visible, and too vulnerable. The inner saboteur whispers, "Better to fail quietly than be exposed painfully." The inner saboteur thrives in secrecy. Unlike external threats, it cannot be negotiated with directly. It operates in shadows, leveraging anxiety, doubt, and fear to shape your life. And because it hides behind your own intelligence, it often goes unnoticed until patterns emerge. Stalled careers, fractured relationships, and recurring life crises. Now, take a moment. Ask yourself, are there moments in your life where your own mind seemed to conspire against you? Opportunities you abandoned, mistakes you made despite knowing better? The inner saboteur isn't a villain outside of you. It's part of you, calling attention to unresolved fears and unacknowledged truths. Self-worth and identity. Self-sabotage isn't only about fear or perfectionism, it's deeply entwined with identity and self-worth. The smarter you are, the more acutely you may feel the gap between who you are and who you should be. This gap can create internal tensions so powerful that the mind unconsciously works to maintain equilibrium, even if it means undoing your own success. Imposter syndrome is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind it lies a profound question. Who am I, really? For high achievers, external validation can temporarily fill the void. Awards, praise, and status reassure the conscious mind. But underneath, the unconscious holds a different story. You may feel unworthy, flawed, or incapable of sustaining achievement. When opportunities arise that challenge this self-perception, the mind may act in self-defeating ways to protect its existing narrative. Identity conflict often emerges in life transitions, promotions, relationships, moving to a new city, or starting a family. These events force a reevaluation of who you are. The unconscious resists change, sometimes violently. You may procrastinate, pick fights, or even abandon goals that threaten the stability of your self-concept. Smart people, capable of anticipating long-term consequences, often do this with precision. The mind calculates just enough disruption to maintain a familiar identity while avoiding catastrophic change. Consider historical examples. Many brilliant innovators, artists, and thinkers destroyed their own work at critical moments. Isaac Newton reportedly hid years of research, and Nikola Tesla burned personal notes, fearing exposure. In everyday life, the pattern manifests as quitting jobs right before promotion, sabotaging relationships when intimacy feels threatening, or rejecting opportunities because you're not ready. In each case, the unconscious mind is enforcing the story it believes about you, even when the conscious self disagrees. Pause and reflect. Have you ever acted against your own interests to preserve a sense of self? Perhaps you've abandoned a project because it's not me, or rejected praise because I don't deserve it. These are not failures, they are signals. Your unconscious is highlighting unresolved fears, unmet needs, or conflicts with identity. Recognizing this is the first step toward breaking the cycle of self-sabotage. Real-world illustration. Let's make this abstract idea tangible with a story. Imagine Julia, a software engineer with a reputation for brilliance. Her intelligence earned her scholarships, awards, and a coveted position at a top tech company. Everyone expected her to climb the ladder quickly. But Julia had a habit. Whenever a promotion seemed imminent, she found reasons to push back. She missed deadlines, argued with colleagues, and subtly undermined projects she was leading. From the outside, it seemed irrational. Why sabotage the very career she wanted? The answer lay in her self-perception. Deep down, Julia felt unworthy of recognition. She feared the attention that success would bring, worried she wouldn't live up to expectations, and dreaded exposing herself as a fraud. Her mind, brilliantly intelligent and painfully self-aware, orchestrated small failures to maintain a sense of psychological safety. The pattern repeated across other areas of life. Julia's relationships suffered because she would unconsciously pick fights whenever someone got too close. Friendships faltered, romantic partners left, and opportunities were abandoned. Each time, the inner saboteur whispered, "Better to fail on your own terms than be exposed by life." Julia's story illustrates a universal truth. Intelligence can amplify self-sabotage because it equips the mind with tools to rationalize, plan, and execute behaviors that align with deep-seated fears. High IQ or talent does not immunize you against the unconscious. It makes your inner saboteur more sophisticated, more strategic, and often more destructive. Now, imagine looking at your own life through Julia's lens. Opportunities you avoided, relationships you undermined, projects you abandoned. What patterns do you see? Are they random, or are they the careful work of an inner force trying to maintain control over your fragile sense of self? Reflection and escalation. At this point, the question becomes urgent. If your mind can be both your greatest ally and your most cunning saboteur, how do you navigate life? How do you pursue ambition without triggering self-destruction? Begin by noticing the patterns. Awareness is the first weapon against sabotage. When you recognize the moments where fear, doubt, or identity conflicts drive behavior, you step into conscious choice. You may still feel the pull of the inner saboteur, but now you can pause, reflect, and respond, rather than react unconsciously. Consider the stakes. Without this awareness, intelligent people can spiral. Careers stagnate, relationships fail, health suffers, and life's opportunities slip by, unnoticed or deliberately avoided. In extreme cases, self-sabotage can lead to chronic anxiety, depression, or existential despair. Yet, there is hope. The paradox of intelligence can be reversed. The same mind that constructs elaborate sabotage schemes can also devise strategies to counteract them. By observing patterns, questioning inner narratives, and embracing imperfection, you can reclaim agency. The inner saboteur is not a villain to defeat, it's a messenger to understand. Pause and reflect again. What if your past failures were not just mistakes, but signals pointing toward unacknowledged fears? What if recognizing them is the key to unlocking not only success but psychological freedom? Smart people sabotage their own lives not because they are weak, lazy, or malicious, but because the mind is protecting itself, maintaining equilibrium, and defending fragile identity structures. Intelligence magnifies the subtle unconscious forces that shape behavior, making sabotage more precise, more strategic, and more insidious. The key insight is that self-sabotage is not a moral failing, it's a signal. It tells you where fear resides, where perfectionism dominates, and where identity conflicts block growth. The path forward is awareness, reflection, and compassion toward yourself. Ask yourself, where in your life have you acted against your own best interests? What fears, doubts, or unexamined beliefs were driving those choices. By examining these patterns, you can begin to step out of the shadows of your own mind and take conscious control of your destiny. Intelligence does not condemn you to self-destruction. It gives you the power to understand the mechanisms behind it, anticipate them, and ultimately, transcend them. The dark psychology behind self-sabotage is not an enemy to fear, but a mirror to understand. And when you look closely, you may find that your greatest ally is the very mind that once seemed intent on defeating you.